We're on our way down to watch some 4th of July fireworks. Exciting.
So, morning, flashing lights.
Rocking on the block with the hot sun shining. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Everybody get up, everybody get down. Come on and jump into the madness right now. Everybody get up, everybody get down. We're gonna rock it till our people say wow. Everybody get up.
Okay, so we are about to install the depth sounder. Nick just finished masking off the hull. This is what the old one looked like. It was covered in a bunch of sealant. It was a nightmare to get off, but we finally managed to do it.
I wish we had filmed us actually taking it off, but it was really a 2-person job, so like hands were at a premium.
Yeah, I started it and then I wasn't able to do anything because, well, he was down at the bottom, I was inside.
Yeah.
He was pulling, I was pushing, so.
It was actually kind of ingenious.
Then I got it off.
I'll tell you really quickly. We had a screw that we put through this hole and a rope attached to the screw. And so as Jake was hammering the outside edge, I was putting all my body weight on the rope pulling down. And little by little,
It worked.
it
Because
worked.
it's got the sealant, which is to keep it watertight. And God only knows when this was done, so. But now it's done.
Looks like it could have been done pretty soon anyways.
Now that Nick has it masked off, let's get to it.
I'm about to pop the hole and use as much of it as possible. I had to rush in here because in putting the transducer in, it got real filled with 5200 and that stuff is permanent. So I just cleaned it off and I'm about to lock it in place. First, this rubber washer goes in and then this nut, and it gets hand tightened. Really important, apparently. Okay. That's
Okay, I think it's nice and lubed. Okay, stick this sucker in. It's not really great phrasing after I just lube something up. Actually, the lube made it go in easier.
I wired up these Molex connectors. First time I ever did that. Dealt with incredibly super sticky electrical tape. That's like all over my hands and made it that much harder to tape up neatly. And because our batteries only have 6 cell groups, I had to wire the last 6 groups all into the number 6 connector. Explain why just how the directions told me to do it. So yeah, that's it. Now I'm gonna plug it in, make sure it's all wired correctly, and be mostly done.
Taste of this world as the offer. Unafraid we were made to wander. We will never let it go to waste. No, we're never gonna let it fade. We want a taste of this world as the offer. When we run out of wine, we'll be sipping on sunshine.
This is the BMS controller. So, battery management system controller, which I still need to find a home for the time being.
We got everything we need. We're living in the moment.
Okay, so this morning we are down at the marina so that we can pull our mast and install new spreaders, because the old ones we had had holes in them, so we got to get with the boat yard and then they're going to pull the mast from storage and then let us install it.
There's a compression tube inside the mast that prevents the mast from crushing under the strain of the spreaders. And what we need to do now is replace this bolt gently. Replace this bolt so that we don't lose the compression tube. That's what we're doing. Make sense?
Okay, so what we thought was going to be a simple day has turned out to be just a little bit more complicated. So what we showed you a minute ago about pushing the bolt through so we don't lose the compression tube and have to replace it seemed pretty simple in theory, but we have run into a little bit of an issue. The plate, so the bolt that holds the plate that holds the spreaders, we assume is probably original, so that puts it at like 40 years old. So we're having a little bit of a struggle with getting it out.
Well, after taking all day, we got the bolt out, and it was a doozy of a fucking bolt. So, progress was made.
At least it's out.
Huh?
At least it's out.
It is out. Now we can at least put the new brackets on and finish up at least part of the mast refit.
Brackets are on this bitch. Ugh, it's gonna take us all day. This was a nightmare, but they're on. Now just to install the rigging. Our first engine test. Motor test, sorry. That was our first motor test, and it was a success. And basically what we mean by success is it turned on and the propeller spun. That's our success. We'll have to do more tests once we get in the water. We can do like a proper water trial to see how much draw there is from the power and various speeds and etc. etc. But for the first time, means we did it. We successfully put shit together.
I'm working on our throttle control. What I've been doing, I went to the plumbing aisle to find all the hardware that I needed. So this tube is going to go onto this stem on the throttle controller unit, and I've already started part of it. I tapped this end with a lock screw so that it secures nicely to this stem over here. And now I have to drill 2 more to lock this fitting into place. And then our actual knob is gonna come onto this stem and be enclosed in a housing.
If you're wondering why we have to go through all of this hubbub, jump through hoops, whatever you want to say, to get this to fit, it's because we didn't like any of the traditional throttles that we found.
And they're really expensive.
And they're like stupid expensive. So we decided to buy something else online for cheaper. And make our own. Okay, so we're working away the midnight oil. And by midnight oil, I mean 9 o'clock oil, but that's not a saying, so that's not a thing. Right now we are finishing up the installation of the throttle. Nick is in the aft berth, pulling wires to and fro.
You're not dead yet. Somebody get me the knife, please.
So what Nick here is doing
It's a good thing I have a lot of extra wire.
is he's pulled the wire from the motor compartment through where that trash bag's at into the port side locker, through the hole number to where he's at now, and it will go up under there through the steering there. It's a journey. I'm sorry if that made you dizzy, guys.
Today's been our longest night so far. We're trying to push through, get everything ready for a launch on Monday. So we still haven't heard from the yard to see if they can even launch us on Monday, but we're all hoping that he can. It's just the 2 of us. We're hoping that we can. So wish us luck. I think we're calling it for tonight, but coming back bright and early tomorrow to finish some stuff up. We still need to install the new Triton screen, finish the throttle control installation, not get eaten by mosquitoes and whatnot. The old and the new. A tale as told as time. A tale as old as time. I speak well.
so our list of things to do for launch is pretty much done. The throttle is finished. The display is on. Transom is painted. So the last thing now is just finish up the water tanks and do some cleaning. Which I'm not really going to show because it's not exciting. So finish these things up, and first thing tomorrow morning, they're coming to get the boat.
Dizzy from the way this world is turning, turning. Different from the way our mothers told us. Can't seem to figure out which way is up or down. Can you point me in the right direction now? We're all just trying to find our place, but each day could go a million ways. I guess we're all running the same race. We'll make it up as we go now. We'll shake it up until we figure it all out. And it might be harder than it seems, but we're catching up to all our dreams. And we'll make it up as we go now, go now, go now. Make it up as we go now, go now, go now.
Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and come back next week as we finally make it into the water.